Maybe we are in business now. This song is driving me crazy. Mucho Machado. Gosh, I heard it the other night. And when you just have a song that just sticks in your head, it's like a virus. You can't get it out. Oh my goodness. How is everybody? My goodness, it's so nice here right now. I've actually been out in my garden. I'm out in my garden every morning, but do you see this rose? That's Venus. She's laying an egg. I picked this by accident the other night because I have a habit of going to my roses every day and leaning down to smell them. Well, I pulled this rose up a bit too hard and I snapped it off. So I've got it in a little bit of water and I'm just getting my fix every few hours because the thing with smelling roses is that if you go to smell the rose a second time after you smell it the first time, it doesn't smell as good as the first time. So you have to wait for a while. Oh, gosh, but this is my first rose of the season. This is called a Double Delight. It's a hybrid tea, and the bush was put in last year, and now she's the first to bloom. But my rose garden is just, it's so happy right now. It looks so good. I've done so much weeding because we've had a little bit of rain. The weeds just go rampant, and you have to get them when they're small. And you know what? I didn't. I left them, and oh shit! I had grass growing, I had weeds, and so every few days I'm out there. Um, Getting new little weeds or getting new little grass because that little grass, it may look harmless, but give it a few weeks and it goes berserk. And I want to catch it before it gets hot because I don't want to be weeding when it's hot. I don't want to be putting my hands um, in like around places I can't see because I don't want any surprises, aka snakes or spiders. So I'm trying to get it done, and I have a little walk mower that down in my paddock where I have my Iranian roses. I'm just going to go over and mow that once a week, just like through the in between the beds, just to keep it low until it's dry and it doesn't grow anymore. Um, but that's a big challenge here is weeds, and I know a lot of farmers are using weeding mats, and I may use weeding mats when I get on a bigger scale to keep up with the weeds. But for now, it's out of my budget to do. I don't even need to do the whole paddock because I don't have roses everywhere yet, but I have so many cuttings, they're all taking to the ground. And so I've got to start planning ahead and putting some money aside for um, developing the beds and keeping those weeds down. Unless I go out every week or every few days, like I've been doing, and just running along each bed, picking out the weeds. And I don't mind doing that. I actually find taking the weeds out is quite therapeutic, but I also like the idea of knowing that I'm not disturbing the ground and I'm leaving the microbes in the ground. But when you get a small little weed, it's not going to do any difference. It's the big ones that you have to really tug at and pull. It's hard work, no joke. If you leave the weeds, but if you get them when they're little, it's all good. So, how are you all, beautiful people around the world? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. This seems to be the time that I will end up doing my live streams. Venus, my God, really? She's so dramatic. My mornings are usually the time that I do my live stream because it's early and it's before I start my day. And I'm still in my pajamas, of course. But it's before I start my day, and it's only 7 o'clock. So it gives me a chance to sit, relax, and go through like my business stuff, like orders, getting back on emails, doing readings. I prefer to do it first thing in the morning because I feel fresh, I feel good. Um, but but later on, I'm busy. I'm busy in my garden, and I don't come inside unless I want a drink or a snack or something. And I don't come in and sit down really until late afternoon because the weather is good and I've got things to do. So, yeah, so I will most likely be doing the live streams in the morning. So, yeah, I just hope, like, wherever you are in the world, I think at least in the US, it's what, um, maybe it's like 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then Mountain Time, and then Pacific Time. I'm not sure what that is. Europe people are obviously maybe sleeping. I'm not sure. It's pretty late there now. The Middle East is 6 hours behind, but they don't go to sleep at night anyway. So, um, yeah. So I think for me, I'll do it in the mornings. Hi, Whitney. Hello, my girl. Salam, Farah. Hayati. Thank you so much. Hi, Nathan. Hi from Essex. Oh, wow. So you are up. Must be late there. Hi, Vanessa. The Silver Path. Good morning. Good morning. Mondo is here. Cry for the Moon is here. That rose looks delicious. I swear, girl, the smell is just wow. The smell is amazing. And I've got like three more buds coming out now on the same bush. And it's only in its second year. Give this rose like 5 years. It will be blossoming out like crazy. And all my little new ones that I've put in this year, I mean, they're only little, but because, and I know it might gross you out, I've been using urine. I've been collecting urine for months and months. So basically, I have like a chamber pot that I piss in. Let's just keep it honest here. And, and I feel so good knowing that it's not going to waste. So, number one, not only am I cutting my water usage, I worked out that I'm probably saving between 80 to 100 liters of toilet flush per day. That's a lot of water because it takes what, 8 liters or 5 to 8 liters thereabouts to refill a toilet. That's a lot of water. And like me, I go a lot because I drink a lot of juice. I like fresh juice. I drink a lot of tea, coffee. I'm drinking through the day. Like it adds up. And my water bill, the one for my toilet was the lowest it's ever been. And I don't know if that's because of not using much water, but even when I wasn't using much before, it's never been that low. It's never been that low. So it all counts. It all adds up. Oh, Venus just dropped her egg. Good girl. Um, so I've been collecting it, and not only that, if you know how good urine is as a fertilizer for your gardening, you will never ever need to use chemical synthetic fertilizers again. You know, Mother Nature knew what she was doing when we came to this earth because we have everything we need to sustain ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to, recycle this life, recycle the cycle of life, basically. And if we didn't have these synthetic or chemical fertilizers years and years ago, like what would they have used? They would use what they could, like, and they would use manure, and maybe they knew about urine as well. I'm pretty sure the ancients knew about urine. And, so it works twofold. It works in so many different ways. But if you just use urine directly on the ground, it will burn. It will burn your weeds. If you want a weed killer, use urine. But if you want to use it as fertilizer, it's best to dilute it. And I dilute mine, like I use 1 part urine to like 8 to 10 parts water. And just as a safety mechanism, I don't water on the leaves of my plants. But you know what? Since I've been using it, I mean, my plants have never looked healthier. They look so good. They look so good. So I'm convinced that, it works. And I've seen that it works before anyway. And I'm just so glad that I've collected it, because I feel like I'm helping the environment. I'm putting back into the environment, which is natural, because you can't get any more natural than that. And urine has so many different trace elements and minerals, but the main is the nitrogen, the phosphorus, NPK, and NPK. What is it? Nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. So urine has all that. So why on earth would you go and buy fertilizers? Unless you had a big operation. I mean, even then, you could be savvy, and I saw one Chinese apple farmer um, go to a school and have the children pee in this specialized this urine contain like keeping the urine in these containers, and then they take a truck and then they go and either dilute it and put it in put it in the farm on the soil. And I just think, I mean, this is such a win-win. Getting back to earth, you cannot get any more natural than that. Um, so, I'm so inspired by that. So, of course, I'm going to do something like that. It may not be the glamorous way of doing things, but I tell you what, I feel so much more better doing that than spending money on fertilizers. And I'm using natural fertilizer. So I feel really good with doing that. And I see the results of what other farmers have had. It was such a big thing in was it in Niger, in Africa? The farmers got onto using urine, and they saw how amazing their crops did, and like literally everyone started doing it. And the people end up buying urine from places, like from people, because it was so in demand. And it's free. It's free. It just, there's nothing bad about it. So I feel good. I feel really good about my garden. But it's still a bit of an experimental stage, because I'm still trying to work out how frequently I can put it on. So long as it's diluted, I think you're pretty right to put it on, once a week, maybe once a fortnight. It's all about the dilution, and you don't want to put it on directly on your plants, because your plants will burn. Like any fertilizer, if you don't dig it in the ground, or if you um, cover the leaves with it, it's going to burn the plant, because it's powerful, powerful stuff. So I've been out doing that. My garden is looking great. The Wits of Nano is here. Hey, honey, so nice to catch you live again. Delighted with the products I purchased from you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Actually, I've been making some more soap. I've made this. I've made this soap. Can you see this? I haven't got my camera up right now, but a this is a marbleized soap that I've made. Real beautiful, chunky soap. I made some of that last night, and it smells amazing. I don't actually have a name for it yet, so you guys know my style. If you have a good name, write it in the comments or on this live stream. But usually my soap is named after ancient things, or I've actually named my soap after some of my characters in my book, The Arunasis Medallion. Some of you will recognize that. But this is a lovely marbleized type soap, and it just feels so good. You won't see any soap here in my rack, because if you follow me on Instagram at Noor Gardens or Soap of Pasargadae, you will see that I had crates, like little boxes of my soaps all packed up. selling them at the market. So they're still, actually, they're at my mother's house. And I think there's another market in October. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go get some soaps because I need them for orders and things. Um, and then I will, I will go back to this other market, the bigger one, and sell them there again. But I've had such a good response, and I'm so glad to hear you guys love them. And I'm glad you think the prices are good, because I see artisan soap, or artisan soap, and I see the prices, and I think people know the time and the worth and the money that goes into them, and I think 4.95 is a good price for my soap. I feel good with that because, like I said before, I want a soap that people can afford, people can come back and use it, but still it's a good looking, pretty soap. It can be used for gifts, it can be used for like birthdays, Christmas, whatever, or just for yourself. Um, and you know what? Even my dad, who's real kind of stiff with these kinds of things, he's a very black and white kind of person. He's not into, kind of arty farty stuff. He's not into. He is like kind of like a hard country guy, black and white, steak and three veg kind of guy. Even he likes the soap, and I was very surprised because he's not usually one for anything like this. So it's, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. I can't believe he likes it, but he does. He really likes the Nubian soap, which I do have a piece here, which I'll show you. It's a cut off, but it's, oh my gosh, the smell of this is incredible because I've used scents in here that I haven't used in my other soaps, you see? So this is just a cut off piece. But you know what? This has charcoal in it, but this is charcoal from Noor Gardens, from right here. So as with most of my spellcraft and my spell work that I do, and my resins and powders, I ground this up myself. I don't go and buy activated charcoal. Like this is my charcoal from my earth right here. So I'm out there, pounding the charcoal until it is like a thin powder. Then I sift it, then I pound it again. So everything, my whole objective is to try and keep things as locally sourced as possible. And once my roses start producing, like once I have a lot of roses, of course I'm going to use these rose petals, but I want to use my own rose oil. I'm going to have, I'm going to have so many roses that I want to be collecting the oil because I am a little bit obsessed with rose oil. I'm just obsessed with oils in general, but I just feel good knowing it's coming from my hands, from my portion of the earth that I am a custodian of. And, I feel really good about that. I feel happy that I'm using product here, and I know where it's coming from because, as you know, a lot of my soap, all my soap is mica free, but um, because I don't know where that mica comes from, I don't know how it's mined, and I have seen these mica documentaries of children in these mines. I'm not down with that, so I feel good knowing that I know where my product comes from. And it's made by my hands. And I mean, you just cannot beat homemade soap. I gave some to my neighbor across the road, and she said she loved it so much she uses it as a shampoo. She said it's amazing. So I'm so glad it's worked out because I love making it. It's just such a beautiful process, and it just feels so good coming from my hands. So thank you. But I know I don't think you ordered the soap, Nano. So I know you ordered my incenses. I'm so glad you enjoy those, and I know a lot of you guys have tried my incense. I'm actually in the process of making a dahon. A lot of you won't know what that is, but you know, I have my capet, I have my kiffy, I have a whole range of, kind of unique one off incense blends, but one that is not up for sale yet because I'm making it and it takes a process, is called Dajon, or yeah, I guess we could just call it Dajon. Um, so Dajon is, I mean, it's a huge thing in the Middle East. It's kind of like Bahor, as in, you get the smoke and you smoke it around your hair, you put it in your clothes. So basically, if you have a closet, you get your Bahor and you put it um, like in a burner, and then you leave it in your closet and you shut the door and you smoke it out. So I do this here, obviously not so elaborately, but I have a crate. So you do actually get a special chair for this kind of stuff. But when I dajon my clothes, I put my burner down, then I put a crate over the top, and then I lay all my fresh washed clothes over the top, and I smoke that out for maybe 3 or 4 hours. Anyone that has smelled dajon, but like proper bahor, this smell that is left on your clothes. I mean, you know what it smells like when you are near a campfire, right? But when you are having your clothes smoked out with dajon, like with resins and scents and aromas and essential oils and, all of that good stuff, oh my goodness, the smell left on your clothes is unbelievable. And it's used in the Middle East all the time. And I know that is it in the Sudan or is it in Ethiopia? I think it's Ethiopia, um, where the women dahon themselves before they get married or after they get married, um, because apparently I don't I don't know if this is true because I'm a little superstitious about it or suspicious, but apparently it tightens up the vagine, the cus. Oh my gosh. So I don't know. They swear by it, but I don't think so. I don't believe that. Some even men swear by it, but as in they've, I guess, laid with their wives after. I have no idea, but they swear by it, and the women basically cover themselves with like this smock, and they sit over this chair without a seat, and the dajon is placed underneath, and it smokes and cleanses them. It's such a ritual. I mean, it's so esoteric without them even being esoteric, and they do this every night, and they swear by it, and they smell obviously amazing. So I'm working on a dajon, but it takes time to make. So as with most of my products, they just take time to cure, to marinate, to program themselves. So it's just the process. Same with the Middle Eastern perfume. Um, they take time. They need to age basically. So yeah, so I'm making the dajon, and basically you could then just use it for your clothes. I mean, you can do it for the ritual, if you want, the ladies, but yeah, I personally don't use it for that, but it has a history of that. So yeah, so I've been busy doing that. I don't even know where I started with talking with that. I think I was just talking about the soap. So anyway, I feel good with the products. I feel like I've got a nice little array of products on my website now, and there's a lot to choose from, and I like it that way. I've kind of gone out of selling essential oils now, like straight oils, just because I'm not as fulfilled as that. I prefer to make one-off exclusive products that nobody else has. Um, and I love the response, like I love how it makes people feel. So and it's across the board. I mean, I do have some really expensive products, That's because of the oils. Like my Middle Eastern perfumes would have to be the most expensive. But that's understandable with that because of the products used in it. And then, of course, I have soap, which is what, like $4.95 for about 100-gram bar, and that's a good price because I'm seeing other prices with other soap makers, and it's triple that price. So, because I want people to try my products and I want to keep them affordable. So, I'm glad to hear the feedback is good. And I know I'll get it honest from you guys. Mondo says, goodness, mashallah, what a stunning rose. May your garden be filled with them. Thank you so much. The Silver Path says, live right now is perfect for me as I have Mondays off. Farah, thank you so much. Mondo says, haha, Andulairah, I had never thought of that to water plants. Better not eat too much asparagus or you might get the smell, the roses. Or you may not smell the roses in your garden. Yeah, actually, so it does break down. So obviously urine doesn't stay urine once it's in the soil because obviously there's other trace minerals and other chemical elements in the soil. It's kind of a bit like soap making. When you combine it all together, everything kind of alkalizes and neutralizes. And I mean, look, people have been using shit in gardens forever, and they use it with vegetable crops, and it makes them taste better. It makes them taste better. Um, you know what? I've tipped some oil on my floor yesterday, and it's still a little bit oily, so I don't want to get my UGG boots in them. Ah, hi. Oh, you hear the chickens. Love the sounds of nature. Yes, exactly. That is smart preserving. Yeah, it feels so good. Yes, Vanessa, it feels so harmonious. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Athena. Hello, you're radiant. And wow, was that a David Austin rose before? No, this is a double delight, Athena. This is a hybrid tea. So a hybrid tea means it's a tea rose, but it's a cross, like it's a basically it's been crossed with something else. So it might have been a white rose crossed with a pink, or a pink crossed with a white. But this is a pretty common, much loved favorite hybrid tea rose double delight, and it does have a lovely smell. But it's nowhere near as smelly as the Iranian roses, the damask rose. It smells so good. You know what it is like? It really is like a hit when you first smell a rose and you breathe it in for the first time and then you just smile. I mean, it makes you feel so good. It makes you feel so good. Angry Birds is here. Hello, my darling. Athena says, I have not gotten a chance to order the soap yet. Hopefully you will make the shea in case it gets sold out. The shea butter one is already on my website. It's a 90% shea butter. It's a little more expensive. It's $6.95 as opposed to $4.95, just because when I say 90% shea butter, just it is so thick with shea butter. It was such a thick soap to make, and it's got anise in it, so star anise, so actually the oil of anise, and it's got wintergreen, so it smells a bit like tiger balm. So it's like an athlete soap. It's someone that has, wants their joints to feel warm and feel good, and the texture of it when you wet it is, I mean, you don't need to use moisturizing cream. Let's just say that. It's so thick. Farah says, I love roses. It's so feminine and beautiful. I can't wait until spring is here. Introverted entrepreneur says, Andulairah, thank you for all you do. Could you please write your Patreon, your Instagram, and your gardening channel in your about description so more people can find you in more places? I actually thought I did that. I thought I did, but I've also up on the channel, my channel desktop, like the main page for my channel. I've got the little icons where it says my website, my Patreon. I'm not sure if Instagram's on there. Just so you know, I have actually activated my Andulairah Instagram again, but it's a new one. Venus is happy about that. Actually, sorry, it's Erethe. Erethe's in here now. I did it last night because I've had so many people ask me where my Andulairah Instagram is and how bad they feel that they don't have it anymore. Um, so I've got now, I've got now, so I've got 3 Instagrams. One is purely for my soap. So it's for the Soap Mad. Soap of Pasargadae is where I'm doing my soap. Noor Gardens is garden stuff, mainly garden stuff, and a little bit of soap because obviously soap is from products of my garden, so I post that on there. And then of course you've got Andulairah, which is all things esoteric because you know what? I really missed putting my esoteric stuff online on Instagram because I want to connect with more esoteric minded people. I don't have them here. So I love being in that esoteric community. And so Andalaira, of course, is going to be all witchcraft, all esoteric, all metaphysical kind of stuff. More like facial pictures, not so much garden stuff. More products with like my jewelry, incense, and talking about all things esoteric. It's such a delicious part of my life that it just felt kind of empty without being able to share that. So I am at Andalairah at Instagram for soap mad people and people that love my soap, Soap of Pasargadae, and then Noor Gardens, which is my place here, is all gardening, updates on my roses, my palms, all my hard yakka physical stuff that I'm doing. So I've got 3. I mean, talk about someone who, doesn't want to be on social media too much. Now I'm completely contradicting what I'm saying. But even though I don't really spend time on these social media things, it's just that once I create them, then I can post up on them and people have that access there. Um, but like I said, it was the messages and things people would send me, and I end up deleting the other Andalairah. But I figure if people want to follow me, they'll find me. They'll find me like they've always done, and so I did that again. Whoops. For the Patreon, that's usually, I do have a link in the description box below of most of my videos. I post, so I post what I do with my Patreon. If you're subscribed, you can subscribe to my Patreon or be a patron for $1. Once a month, I do an exclusive Patreon video just for my Patreons. And then obviously if you are supporting me on a different tier, sometimes like I have a patron that I do a private video for once a month. Basically she wants a question answered and then I will give her my time for about 10 minutes of a private video. So I have these different tiers for different things. And, it just depends on what it is that you want from my Patreon. And, if there's anything you would like me to add on Patreon, anything more, let me know. I have to give a shout out to Agnes, my girl Aggie. She's been my patron for a long time, and I have to say thank you to her for supporting me on Patreon. And she'll probably watch this later because I think where she is in Greece, it's late. So I want to give a shout out to Aggie and all of you guys for supporting me on Patreon. And believe me, it all helps, and I just feel like it's a really nice relationship we have with each other because, you support my dreams, and then I also inspire you to follow your own path, and, give you advice and wisdom and teachings and, basically just sharing what I'm doing here. Letting you be part of my journey because in many ways you are. You are helping support me by allowing me to continue to do what I do. And, I feel like it's a learning process for everyone involved. And it's just the bottom line is that it's just abundant in every way. Like it's abundance for everyone, and it just feels great. Um, this is how the universe works. And actually, I somehow the other day, it must have just been a suggestion video in my YouTube one morning, but I got one of these Italian farmers, young ones my age, that are leaving big time jobs in the city. So one, I think, was an engineer. Um, one was like a economist. Like there was all these people in big positions. They have left them to go back to the land. Like they've become farmers. They've left these big jobs. They've got some government funding to buy acres of land, and they are literally gone back to the old ways. I feel so inspired when I see this because, for a minute, I could see where this young generation was going, and it was just completely tech orientated. But to now see some younger people just burning, desiring to get back to the land and start farming. They're doing it. One is a silk farmer, and they make their own silk, and then they sell their products. Um, I don't know another. I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, it's just so inspiring to see the younger generation feeling the tug to go back to nature. Feeling that pull that Mother Nature is intuitively telling them, come back to me, come back to the land, come back to the earth, come back to your roots. I mean, I feel so inspired, and I feel so assured that there are young people coming back to the land. Like farming has become a trendy thing. It's so good. Farming is trendy. And here I was thinking, you know, and I mean, it's going to be I mean, people, of course, are going to still do what they do, but knowing that there are people that are just drawn to going back to the earth, this generation, my generation, because they know that money does not fulfill them the way that going back to the earth does. And of course, we do need some money to survive, obviously, to put petrol in a car or pay electricity bills or buy seed, or buy the basic things. But you know, it's only part of the whole process, and they realize that too, because as they said in this interview, they would say, I was no longer fulfilled in my job, even though I was on six figures. It wasn't living to me. They would say it wasn't living, it wasn't fulfilling. Even though I had numbers in my bank account, it didn't feel satisfying. And so they just decided that that's what they wanted to do. And one of the guys said, I have never felt so much satisfaction and joy in my life than being back on the land, and no amount of money that I ever earned could give me that same feeling that I feel now, that I'm contributing to the planet, and that I'm growing things with my own hands, and learning about this process at the same time. And it is. I just empathize with these farmers so much. And once you start, you realize it's the right way of life to go back to the earth, to go back to nature. It just feels so good, so natural. And um oh gosh, I just feel so inspired knowing there's so many people that want to go back to the land. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, I have the box icons on the top. So that's and yeah. Anyway, so hopefully people can find me pretty much on these platforms easily because usually there's a link in the description box with links that I have a link to my Etsy store that I've posted some of my soaps, but not all of my soaps. I will say though, my soaps on Etsy are $1 more expensive because Etsy has fees, and not all my soap is listed on Etsy. All my soap is listed on my website at alluin.com. So yeah, where else? Yeah, that's it for now. Sally says, "Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. I can imagine soaking in that shea. This may be a dumb question, but with the shea bar, is there a expiration date, or is this soap that goes a long way?" Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the good thing about soap is that it needs to sit for months to become, real cured soap. So soap basically doesn't have an expiration date. Um, that saponification process, when the lye combines with, with the water and then the fats, soap could last for years. As far as I know, I don't think soap has an expiration date. And the longer you're leaving it, it's a bit like cheese, the better it is. Uh, LL says, do you go live at this same time every week? Yes, I seem to go this time. It's usually in the mornings. Hi, Jake. Oh, hey, beautiful. This is perfect. You sitting in front of your star cluster pictures. I've been trying to remember for a while which constellation it is you talked about once. I think it's red color, and the formation in it also resembles a female figure. Yes, it's called the Trifid Nebula. And that one is this one here. It seems to, you know what, when I look at constellations, I see imagery all the time. There's another one that I see. I'll have to show it to you one time. But this, to me, is so feminine. The Trifid stirs me like nothing else. And it's of like this woman, this female with these goddess like wings arched back. To me, that is a symbol of creation. And that has to be one of my favorite nebulas. I'm sorry I haven't emailed you back, but we'll connect soon. We'll get together, and maybe this week sometime if you're free. Angry Birds says, yeah, it's like 1 a.m. So it's like that's Kosovo time. Maybe the Horsehead Nebula. No, I don't have Horsehead is not up there. That's Thor's helmet, that big one. Trifid Nebula. That picture down there is it's the Hubble Deep Space picture. So that's that real big picture that they left on for the exposure on for, oh gosh, how long was it? Not very long. And these are basically like hundreds of thousands of galaxies in that picture, but that's a very small picture of the actual big one. Um, and then you have basically this chart of, going up. So you have the Earth, and then you have it's not in order, but then you have the local galactic group, then you have local superclusters, um, solar interstellar neighborhood, the observable universe. It's actually a whole sequence uh, sequential sequence, I should say. And yeah, I got some more, but I haven't put them up there yet. Maybe I'll put some more up because I have them hanging up in my other house, in the schoolhouse. Can we order your products from abroad? Honey, I will send to you wherever you are in the world, even if you're in Antarctica. If I can send there, I will send it to you there. I don't have any limits to where I send my products. Not unless your country has limits. And actually, I was thinking about it. I would love to send, like, once I start getting my own rose seeds from my plants, I want to sell my rose seeds online, because I manually pollinate them myself. So if there are any of you that are wanting to try and germinate your roses from seed, then I can sell them to you, for a couple dollars. Because one thing I have found, nobody is selling rose seeds online. And if they are bogus. They come from China. I'm seeing roses that have all these rainbow colors on them, as in the petals, and they're selling the seeds. That is such bullshit. That roses, they are not real roses. That is a scam. That is fake. They are not real, genuine roses. But if I can, get the seeds and people want to try growing them from seed, then I will start selling my seeds on my website as well. And, you can try your hand, and I will include like a description of the instructions of exactly what you need to do, what you need to get. All you would need to get is vermiculite. But, I hope I can also, have a bit of a lucky dip and cross some of my roses and see what comes out in the seeds. That's a whole big surprise. Is you don't really, unless you manually pollinate them by hand, you don't really know what you're going to end up with. Jake says, that is awesome. Cheers. No worries about the email. I mean, you know how crappy I am for applying. No, it's fine. We'll get round to it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Farah says, love the setup of the galaxy. So beautiful and mind blowing. The beauty. Love the goddess hands. Oh, that would be nice to see your own seeds. Yeah. Because you know what? Because I feel like I know the secrets of how to propagate roses from seeds now. I can also share that with people if they want to grow their own roses from seed, because roses in general, I don't know about where you are in your countries, but they are so damn expensive. No playing around. Roses are expensive. A bare root rose can go from anywhere between $17 to $28, $29. One rose, a bare root. So basically, you get the rose, and it comes with its bare roots. If you get a potted rose, can be anywhere between $25 to $40, maybe more. A potted rose is obviously, it comes in a pot with soil, but they are expensive. And so if you are willing to wait a few months and have your roses in the fridge after you receive them, like your rose seeds, you will see that you can grow your own from seeds. It's just a bit of a lucky dip. Depends on, like, if you pollinate the roses. If I was to pollinate this rose, this double delight, with another double delight rose, you're going to get this same type of rose. Whereas if I was to take this double delight and cross it with a David Austin, I don't know how that's going to look. It could look phenomenal. It could look one color only. But if you're willing to, have that surprise, I could totally send you those seeds and see what comes about it. That's the whole kind of, fun thing about roses, growing roses from seed, is sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. Yes, it's the Trifid Nebula. Cry for the Moose says, oh my gosh, it would be special to grow from some of your rose seeds. Oh, I hope you feel my love in my seeds. Oh, that's okay. Yes, actually, roses from Damascus are well known. Well, they're actually the roses that I have here. The damask rose. They call it the famous smelling rose, which is the one they use for making the rose attar, is called Rosa Damascena, or Triganta petala. And I have about 5 or 6 different damask roses on my property right now. I did order more this year, but the rosarian that I bought them from said they didn't do too well. They didn't graft too well. And so they had to give me a refund on some of them. But this is another thing. I'm not against grafted roses, but I am all about growing true root roses. And if you're into roses, you'll know what I'm talking about. But grafted roses, basically, they take like a cutting from this double delight and they stick it onto a mother root stock, like a root stock, which is a real hardy kind of rose, grows really quickly. And so they graft this on there, but there's so many problems that come with grafted roses, because there can be these, offshoots coming off from the mother stock, that the union of where the graft is and the mother stock can be really weakened. It can be susceptible to virus, to the winter. Give roses a chance and grow them from their own, roots. But these big commercial growers, it's all about turning over profit, getting shit done quickly, having them grow quickly, and it's easier for them. Like it's a more assured way that they're gonna get the rose they want, even if they have to skip the growing process a little bit, if that makes sense. So it's more, they do this because it's more economically viable for a big commercial business, but I'm not a big commercial business. I would be more like maybe a boutique business, like kind of, um, just a bit of a one off kind of. Everything about what I do is artisan, it's bespoke, it's kind of one off, kind of boutique ish thing. I'm not in it for, mass production and having, like this super huge rose company. I'm in it because I love it. And if I can, support myself from my garden by having exclusive, kind of one off roses that I grow here at my gardens, Noor Gardens, um, then I'm happy. The whole process now, when I'm seeing these growing, even though it's been a slow process, I just feel so fulfilled already. So I can't even imagine how I'll feel in a couple years' time, how amazing it will look. So yeah, there's a lot of variables, and I think if you're in it for business, then you're going to look at the most economically viable way to do that. And these bigger companies, they'll do whatever they need to in order to maximize their profit margin. What are your favorite fiction books? Honey, my own. The Arunasis Medallion is my favorite because I wrote that book. Um, I see it. I see it. I see the book. It's a huge book. That is my favorite fiction. Um, of course, my own books are my favorite because I wrote them. I can see that, and when I reread them, I go straight back to those places. So, Eyes of the Scarlet Rose, even though there's some truth riddled in that book, and the Arunasis. But what else would be another fiction favorite? I'm not really a fiction reader, honey. When I was a kid, I liked Enid Blyton. Enid Blyton. I like those little kind of stories. Um, when I was a teenager, I loved R.L. Stein, but just not now. Like I'm not into fiction. I read usually to learn something. So I read gardening books now. A lot of anything I can learn from, really. Lady Macbeth is here. Hello, I just love your wisdom. Happy Maybon. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for joining. Athena says, my favorite rose is called the Constant Spry. I would love to have a nice climbing rose bush of that kind. Constant Spry. I don't know if I know what that is. There's so many roses, I don't know. Maybe if I knew the family, I would know what that is. I'm not sure. Yeah, to have climbing roses, it just takes a little bit of training because some rose cultivars, some rose species are better at climbing than others. You can basically make any of them pretty much climb. It's all about the season and the way you cut them because a rose is going to grow any way you want anyway. So it's just a matter of, um, what it is you want for the rose, how you want it to look. Uh, LL says, "How do you have so much knowledge? What are your favorite books?" My gosh, I don't know if I have so much knowledge, but what I do know is that all the things that I've ever read, it all comes back to one thing: simplicity and living in harmony with planet Earth. That if that is anything I walk away from, it is that to be living simply and basically, just having your basic needs covered and working out the most harmonious way of living for this life experience. What is the most homogenous? What is the most harmonious for me? Not for everyone, because maybe there are some people in this lifetime that aren't interested in gardens, that aren't interested in what I'm talking about. It is finding your natural line, your natural path, your natural self. And like nature, being in nature, being in gardens is mine. So I don't know. I think the knowledge, I think you could read so much. You could be enveloped in so much knowledge and read 1,000 books. But I feel like the true knowledge comes from nature. I feel like all the secrets of the universe are in nature, are in everything we look at. The spin of an atom, the electrons spinning around the nucleus of an atom mimic these galaxies up here. See them, that galaxy there on the left? That is exactly how electrons are spinning around the nucleus. And so, of course, anything we see on a microscopic level, microcosmic level, like an atom, the same language has to apply to the macrocosmic. To me, that's what I think anyway. And so I think when we look at a nucleus and an atom and an electron, it's mimicked. It's mimicked. The nature reveals to us all the secrets we need. I've always believed that. Ah, Britt, you're the sweetest. You're glowing like a rose yourself, dearest. You're emanating such an earthly vibe. Oh, thank you. Love you too. Oh, girl, we got to meet one day. I wish to when I'm overseas again one day. It would be an honor. Oh, Farah. Habibti, you're so sweet. Oh, it's a David Austin, Constant Spry. LL says, do you ever get lonely and wish you had a man? How do you stay so strong and amazing? And don't you ever wish you had someone to share it with? You have so much love and are so interesting. I will say there are times where I would absolutely love some company, but then other times I am not lonely. I felt very lonely at the start of the year because obviously I was going through a bit of emotional turmoil with this guy I was kind of seeing called Farm Boy. Let's just say Farm Boy. And my goodness, it was just, that's when I felt lonely. And I had to remember my connection to source, my connection to that source energy. That is what keeps me feeling not lonely. I am never alone when I am out in my garden or feeling satiated with my life, because I don't know. And I think people that are so fulfilled, people that have everything they need, people that are walking in that flow of abundance, um, you just don't feel lonely. For sure, there are times where I wish I could share it with somebody, but I know that I love my space. I love the isolation. I knew when I was visiting overseas, on the East Coast, when I traveled, I could not wait to get back to be by myself here at my place. It's hard to describe, but I don't I don't feel lonely for the most part. I don't. There are times where, for sure, I you know wish I had people visiting me, and I will say, and I will mention this. I have been in touch with one of my sisters from Dubai, and she wants to come here for a holiday. And if you don't know, I used to live in Dubai for about 7 years, and um, we all kind of live together for the most part. Um, and I'm going to be completely honest with you about this, and I feel because it's very relevant. Um, she is kind of desperate to come over here because there's been some real big shit going on with her other sisters. If I could just give a background story, um, I will say that uh, when these girls were younger in their teens, let me first just say that these girls physically are some of the most gorgeous women, most attractive, most physically beautiful women like I've seen. They are stunningly gorgeous. I remember when I first saw them, when I first met them, I had met their brother first, and he said, "Oh, you must meet my sisters." He said, "But my sisters aren't normal." I said, well, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "You'll see." And when I saw them this day walking down the stairs in the villa, because you know we lived in villas on the beach in Jumeirah, um, each one of them. You know how, and I'm going to be a little bit superficial and a little bit shallow right now, but you know how if you've got maybe six sisters and, some are maybe a little bit average looking, and then you might have a really gorgeous one. Every single one of these girls were just stunningly gorgeous. There was no one that was average looking in this family. And I was kind of blown away by them when I saw them coming down. I'm just like, they are stunningly gorgeous. Well, they all look like that on the outside, but let me tell you, these girls are trouble with a capital T. One of them, when she was 14, married a big, 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 big sheikh, and of course very wealthy. So obviously, when she married 14, it's haram. Yani it's too young. Yani it's too young, and it bothered me when I heard that. And he was 65. That is fucked up. But that's the culture. That's how it is. It's in Indian culture. It's in Middle Eastern culture. It's been like that for a long time, since the ancient times. Anyway, the family came into a lot of money, and we're talking a lot. And um, after that, that's when all their problems started. The girls were out partying, yani they were out, yani delua. They were trouble and naughty. They were just, mayununa. If you understand Arabic, they were crazy girls. And all all up to all they were up to all sorts of harakat, yani they were up to all sorts of trouble. And so This is what the money brought. It brought jealousy. It brought problems with the girls. They were into drink. They were into drugs. مثلا يعني they were into يعني كل شيء, everything. They're into everything. And so anyway, what's happened, like that they've had a lifetime of bullshit, of drama. So when I lived there, there were some weeks I had to go and sleep in my car or sleep at a friend's house, or I ended up at one point I ended up getting my own place and living by myself, or I would, because I love them and I miss them, and so I'd have to go and spend time with them in the daytime and then go and sleep at my place at the end of the day, because the villas, there were two villas either side of each other. It was just full of drama, full of drama, full of drama all the time. Five sisters, always dramatic, always doing things, always, oh my gosh, it was just endless. Anyway, long story short, I'm 37. These girls, this was what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Times have changed. These girls are still not growing up. They're still getting into shit. And the youngest one, who is the most normal, who is the most stable, she she is desperate to come out here because she wants to be with me, because I'm normal, maybe. And she wants a different life. She has no life skills. We're talking about girls that have cooks, they have maids, they have cleaners, they have drivers, they have everything done for them. Bes khalas. Yani they don't do nothing. They don't have any life skills except for, socializing, and basically that's it. That's it. Even the children that a couple of them have been basically raised by nannies, by maids. So which is not uncommon in that culture, but there's been a real detachment with those children, and I feel bad for them because haram, like they're too young at a young age, and one of them literally gave birth and then she left for Spain for months and months and months and months, and literally left him with the nanny. Anyway, I find out not so long ago that two of the sisters are in jail for being caught with crystal meth. Yep. When I heard this, one of them has been in and out of jail for drugs before, so she's going to be serving some hard time. And the other, there's always been drama with her, but this is her first time in jail. And when my sister, when she told me this, I cannot believe it. I just said, Yani, Aib, it is so bad. Crystal meth is the dirtiest, scummiest, ugliest fucking drug. And these stupid girls would be smoking this shit. I could not believe it. And that's what I mean. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much of everything you have. When you get mixed in with this kind of shit, it's over. خلاص زين. يعني it is finished. ما خصة. يعني it's done. So anyway, so she tells me this. She says, now so she's living in this house basically with the maids, because two of the sisters, all the sisters have fallen out. They've always fought. There was no problem when there was no money. Let me say that. There were no problems with them when there was no money. But there's one bitch of a sister, and I'm going to call her as she is, Gahaba. She is the one that imagine, she snitched on her sisters. She told the police that they were smoking crystal meth. Their own sister did this, but she's always been a very jealous, um, like real bad-hearted. She's always been about herself. She's always, um, she would say to me when I would do her hair, or something. She'd be like, "Oh, this guy told me I'm the most beautiful out of all my sisters." It's just like, what the fuck is this talk, girl? You know, it's always as if she had to prove how beautiful she was, and she was better than everybody else because she's always felt better than everybody else. Aslan, yani, just like that. And anyway, she's always had a bad streak in her. Like she's always wanted to hurt her own blood. She's always wanted to hurt her sisters. There's always been big fights with her, and for sure she would have called the police, told them her sisters were smoking this shit, and the young one who I spoke with, I mean, I speak to her anyway, but she told me when the police came, she said she was so scared. She had no idea what the hell was going on. They came storming to the house, banging on the doors, and they literally came in and grabbed these two sisters that had no idea what was happening and took them to jail. And she has not seen them since. So, they're in jail. They're in jail. I'm not surprised because I'm and I'm being completely honest. I cannot even believe these girls are still alive. The things and the shit they've got involved with, and like the drink driving, driving when they're high. I've been in the car with them. We even had a car accident. I mean, that was not even drug or drink related, but I've seen the way these girls drive when they're under the influence, and it is damn scary. And they've got hotted up cars, not they've got Bentleys, they have Cayenne, Porsches, Range Rover. I mean, they have powerful cars, Maserati, like, cars with power. And I used to always cringe if I had no choice but to get in the car with them if we had been out for dinner or something. I loathed it and I never liked it. Or I would say to them, I'm not coming unless I can drive. So, something like that. But anyway, this the youngest one, she's not young. I mean, she's 25. She wants to come and be here for a little time, and I want to teach her life skills. I want to show her a different life. I want to show her a normal life, a life where you need to clean, where you need to take care of yourself, where you need to wash your own clothes. She's a fantastic cook anyway, alhamdulillah. So that's all sorted out. But I want to teach her how to grow things. I want her to work. I want her to understand and appreciate money and the dollar, and because right now she doesn't even know how to drive a car. Like she doesn't even have a bank account, Saraha. Yani she has mashe. Yani there is no life skills with her. So she is desperate for something different. I kept encouraging her 10 years ago, come with me, come to Australia for just a holiday. She's like, no, I'm not interested. She was young and she was not interested. And so I just thought, right, she might have been 20 at that time. And now, though, she's different. She realizes the way of the world, the cold, hard reality of everything. And she wants to change. And so I said, right, if you come here, it ain't going to be easy. I'm not going to be cleaning up after you. I'm not going to be, I said, you'll be doing it yourself. Like, we'll do it together, like, we'll do it together. But don't think I'm going to be, cleaning up after you. And I don't need to be like, we've always had the relationship where I call a spade a spade. I do anyway, but they're like my sisters, all of them. As much as they drive me mad, and as much as I feel so let down and disappointed with the eldest one for snitching on her sisters like that, even though she was doing it herself, I still love these girls as much as they make me crazy. I just think for her sister, for her sister to do this to the other sisters is just unacceptable. But that's the kind of person she is. She's all about herself. She's always had a hidden agenda. Um, it's never been genuine. It's never been genuine. It's always been a mask. And, she's always been like that ever since I've known her. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed in her, but I'm not surprised that she would tell on her sisters like that. So anyway, so that's where I'm at. So the youngest one may come over for a little holiday, maybe just for a few weeks. I don't know. Because I said to her, you will probably get bored here. She's like, no, I won't get bored. Mashallah, it's so nice there. I want to come. I want to learn. I want to garden. It all looks well and good, but it's different. I said, Yani, there is no shopping here. There's no shopping malls. It's not glamorous here. That glamorous life I lived before, that's not here. I'm lucky if I get glamorous for anything, maybe once every 6 months. It used to be every day in the Middle East. We would spend hours at the beauty salons, and I said to her, it's not like that here. But she's Adi. Yani, she's cool. She's like a chameleon. She will fit in anywhere. She's okay, but she's lazy. So I need to try and get that out of her. But she'll be okay. She'll be okay because I'll tell her how it is. If I'm not happy with something, I would tell her, just like any other sibling would. You know, and that's how it is. That's what she needs. But and I know she's desperate. She's never cried to me like that before on the phone. So she wants a change. She needs to learn some life skills, and so I'm the girl. I'm the girl to show her. So anyway, she doesn't even have a passport. Imagine. And this is the double standard. There's always been a bit of a double standard with her because her sisters have been gallivanting around the world since they were in their early teens. But this younger one has always been treated differently. And she's never been able to travel. She's never been allowed to travel. So she's in the process now of trying to work out how she can get a passport. And I said, honey, you've got to do this on your own. There's only so much I can do over here. I can help you with tickets. I can help you, all that kind of stuff, but not with visas and passports. That's that country. So anyway, so that's what's happened in the last week or so. And whether she still feels the same, I don't know. But the desperation was real the other day, and she wants a change. So I may be having some company here 24/7 for a little time, for a few weeks or whatever. I don't know. So she may actually want to end up living here. I don't know. I don't know, but I would say she would absolutely miss the lifestyle in the Middle East. She would miss the golf because I miss the golf. I miss the golf so much sometimes. I miss the food. I miss my friends. I miss the lifestyle at times. But that's only about 10% of the time that I feel like that. 90% of the time, I'm content. I'm absolutely content. I'm always content, but I'm saying, sometimes I sit back on a Friday night after being working all day and I'd be like, God, if I could have some biryani or مثلا يعني some saluna, or if I could go out and and just feast all night, eat some amazing Lebanese food. Oh my God, Iranian food, Iraqi food. There was this place that I went to that I loved over there called Khorasan, Afghan Khorasan and kebab, and it's Afghani food, and it's like this corner shop in Al Quoz. If you know Dubai, it's in the area of Al Quoz, and like it was a place where just men were there, and so basically when they would see a woman, it was just like they would put me in a separate. It wasn't a glamorous place to eat, but the food was unbelievable. So like they would do things like Afghani palau, or something like that, but beautiful biryanis, and oh my gosh. So anyway, so that's sometimes how I feel. If only I could have this right now, or it's more so I miss the food and the company, and there are some things that I miss for sure, but that's only a little bit. That's only a little bit. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. So I'm just being very honest with you, because I'm sure some of you could relate. I'm sure some of you can relate. And this is the world we live in. Crystal meth is a massive fucking problem in this country alone. And not just here. It's everywhere, and it's cheap, it's nasty, and people in their own, getting lost in their own reality, they feel like they need an escape, and they go that way. They go that way, and and this is the thing. People seem to think that meth users all look a certain way. When you look at these girls, when you look at these sisters, the ones that I know, you would never guess it. You would never guess they've been using it for years. They have no. Either they cover their faces very well with makeup, because you would never know. They don't have the missing teeth, or of course they don't. And they could pay to get that fixed a la told, yani, very quickly. Um, you wouldn't even pick it. You wouldn't even pick that they've been nursing this dirty habit. You wouldn't even know. So there's a lot of discrimination and stereotyping with this drug lifestyle. You wouldn't even know with these girls. You wouldn't even know. So yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I'm just reading your comments now. Yeah. Oh, look, it's yeah. 14 is not mature enough for marriage. Are you kidding me? She told me about it, how it all happened, and it just makes me grimace. Just, ugh, just awful. Awful. Yeah. Athena says, were you close with the rest of the sisters? Yes. Oh my gosh. I was close with all of them. But, um, like we were in the house all the time together. So, sometimes, and we would share our beds. Sometimes I would be in with the youngest one. Sometimes I'd be in with another one. Sometimes, like, this is the thing, like, Middle Eastern lifestyle is just, it's so relaxing. It's fun. Um, we would sleep wherever. I mean, there were beds everywhere, and we would just end up wherever we ended up in the villa. And, like, there was just, like, all of them have just, all of them have lovely qualities. It's when the jealousy, and it usually goes with the older sister, comes. She's had a fucking insecurity with the way she looks forever. And it's obvious because now she has this body dysmorphia thing. She has done some shit to her face that makes her look like Jim Carrey from The Mask. No exaggeration. When I've seen her on her Instagram, or on her Snapchat, I just think, what in hell has she done? It is just, it is just awful. And I just think, my God, she was just so beautiful before she started playing with her face. She might have had a few little tweaks before, but now it's just taken to a whole new level, and it's awful. She looks hideous. I just think, my God. Like, but because she's getting older, I guess she feels the insecurity that she's not young spring chicken anymore. And all she's ever wanted, if we're having real talk, all she's ever wanted was to be a sheikha herself. And so for her younger sister to be a sheikha and to be married to who she was and to bring in that kind of money, it's it's really kind of grated with her, and she's always had a damn chip on her shoulder about everything, about the whole world, especially with her sisters. And so she wouldn't even have thought twice about snitching on them to the police, even though she was doing the same dirty habit. I just think, you know what? Karma will come back around. Karma will come back around. She's not a happy person. And you can't be if you were to do something like that. It all comes back to just being envious and jealous. And she always has been. She's always been the root of problems in that family. And, even the way things that used to bug me were the way that she used to speak to the maids. She would talk like she is, like she's better than them. Of course, of course. But that's their culture anyway, because, there is a real segregation between cultures over there. But she really kind of reinforced that. She's got that real princess attitude without, because even I know some princesses, I know sheikhs that don't act like that. So I don't want to say she's got a princess attitude, but yeah, I mean, she's just got that subservient superiority complex about her. And I just remember listening to her screaming out to the maids. She'd just call out, Tali, Alhin, yalla, yalla. I just think, oh my God, this bitch. She was just awful. And the maids were scared of her. They were scared of her, and they probably still are. So, the problems have always started with her. And because the other girls, the other sisters, they're cool, they're just addy. They're just cool about most things. And it's this one that usually triggers them to fight, triggers them to separate. She's always been like that. So yeah. But I had I mean, in many ways, she has been very vulnerable with me, and she'd be very honest and upfront about things, um, every now and then, because she knew I gave her that opportunity to be normal. Um, so it's kind of sad that she would do this, because she does have some nice qualities, but the jealous ones far outweigh the nice ones, unfortunately. The Silver Path says, it will be a real reality check for your sister to come and stay with you for a while. A true eye-opener. Will do her the world of good. Oh my God, she'll have such a shock. She'll have such a shock. I keep trying to tell her, I don't know if it is the place for you because you will get bored here. And she's like, no, I won't. And she won't, because you know what she'll do? For the first couple of weeks, she will be glued on her phone and on her computer watching TV series and things. That's what she does. She loves Bollywood movies. She loves anything Hindi. She will just watch, and she can do whatever she wants here. But, eventually I want to get her out and teach her some things, but she can do whatever she wants. She can do whatever she wants. So long as she's out of that environment, she just needs to chill for a while. And eventually my influence will influence her, and she'll want to probably start to do things and whatever. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. She might have already changed her mind. Yep, they had no boundaries. Yeah, oh my gosh. You cannot imagine the stories I have. They'll go to the grave with me. Let's just say that. The stories I have, not only about those girls, even my own situations about that Middle Eastern culture and the life, you could not even imagine. Yeah, it's a crazy, unbelievable kind of life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oops, sorry, I've just missed a whole. Native Warrior is here. Hello. Yeah, I hope she visits as well. Cry for the Moon said, more pee for the roses. I will ask her. I will tell her, please, you know, you need to, I will get you, I will buy you a nice little chamber pot. Can you please pee in the pot? She will. She won't care. She's done everything in front of me anyway, and me too, Aslan Yani. We don't care. And so she'll do it for me because she'll know I want it for the garden. And the chickens will love her. Ah. Oh, you're so sweet, you girls. Yep, that's right. Oh, Lady Macbeth has already said it. She's going to love the chickens. She will love the chickens. LL says, do you identify yourself as an introvert and shy or extrovert and outgoing? You know what? I like to meet new people. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. Um, I would say if you were to see me out, let's just have a visualization right now. If you were to see me out somewhere public, I'm very reserved. I'm very conservative. Um, I would not be the first to talk, not unless something happened. Like if you drop something, I would pick it up for you and say, "Oh, there you go," whatever. I would not be the first to make communication or talk at all. Or I've always been like that, and I think that's just a part of my private nature in general. I'm very private by nature, and I think it's just because I am content within my own little bubble. It would take somebody else to probably make that connection. Not unless I was meeting somebody or going somewhere to meet someone. Then, of course, I'm very open and very, kind of warm and, like whatever. Or if I was at a party and I didn't know people, if people would come up to me, of course, I'm going to be, very friendly and whatever. But I'm usually not the first one to make an introduction for sure. I've never been like that. And as a child, I had a real shyness problem. Um, I remember there are times, even with family members, like not immediate, but like cousins and things. I just remember I could the shyness was so painful that I even if I wanted to talk, I just couldn't get it out. I couldn't get the words out. And I remember my cousin visited me from London. And she kept coming up to me and saying, hello, hello, do you want to play? I would literally just hide in my shell and run away from her. And I was like that maybe until, I don't know, maybe until I was 8. I don't know. But I've always been pretty conservative. But once you get to know me, like if you're a friend of mine, there is definitely no being conservative. I'm very open. I talk about anything. I like to laugh. Actually, if my friends were sitting here, like people that I know, if they were asked who would be the person that would make you laugh, it would probably be me because I am known for laughing. because once I start laughing, like if it's something that really makes me laugh from my asshole, I cannot stop. And you know how addictive that is. It just ripples out around everyone. And oh my gosh, I just remember sometimes, like some experiences with my friends around here, where we would just, I would start laughing about something and I just couldn't stop, and it would just set them off. And we would literally be in tears on the floor, just can't speak. Like, oh my gosh. So I would say my friends would probably say that about me. Who they would, if they were asked, who would you go for a good belly laugh? Who would you go to? They would probably say me. Because once I start, I just can't stop. And oh hell, it's just it. I've always been like that, and I just can't. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So yeah, being online, people kind of think, oh well, you must be extrovert, but because I'm so open. But like I said, once I know people, I am quite extrovert. Like with people I know, I would never, I've never been a hey, ta-da kind of person. I've always kept myself closed unless I have the opportunity to, like talk with someone or whatever. Athena says, the issue with the older sister, do you think it's an insecurity that's rooted in something cultural? It's definitely not cultural. It would be just her personally, because I really feel deep inside that she doesn't feel as beautiful as her sisters, because her sisters are stunning and she is also. But since she's now played with her face even more, oh my gosh. It's just ridiculous. She was so lovely and natural before. Now she's put some shit in her cheeks and she literally looks like, when she smiles, she looks like the mask. It's so scary. When I first saw it, I just thought, what the fuck has she done to herself? She just looks ridiculous. It's just, oh. I get people if they want to look good and they want to, like, look, I totally respect that if people want to remain youthful and look good. Because I've also, I've definitely played with my face. I've had like lip injections before. I looked ridiculous. I looked so stupid. I've had Botox before. I hated that, like, can you see like how I've embraced these lines and wrinkles? So I definitely, like, I have done that in my past as well. So I would never knock anybody, because you know what? It's your own choice. If you want to do that, if you want to play with that kind of stuff, no problem. Do whatever you want. But when it goes, when it turns into something like a body dysmorphia type of thing, where you just feel like you can't stop getting things done like she has, is too much. She's got a problem, she's got an issue, and it's deeply rooted because she obviously could not see how beautiful and how stunning she was before she's done all this stuff. She's just gone ridiculous about it, and it just looks hideous. She's got something done with her chin to make it look more pointed, and then she's got these huge big cheeks. She just looks fucking crazy. Oh my gosh. I just, oh, I just don't know what to say about it. But she's not the only one. There's so much influence over social media to look a certain way, and there are the most stunningly beautiful people online. So people feel that pressure to look a certain way. And I will say, in that culture, beauty is a huge, it's all about beauty. It's a huge thing. It's all about beauty. So of course she feels the pressure to keep up with appearances. But you know what? She's not young anymore, and she knows that, and she probably feels less attractive knowing that she's getting older. She knows there are much younger, attractive girls around now, and she's probably just feeling her age a little bit. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of a lot of issues she needs to deal with, and fortunately, I don't think it's going to change with her. I feel like she's always going to be the way she is, and I don't know. She's always been like that ever since I've known her. Big class system in these countries. Huge, huge class systems. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I hope she comes out here. If she can work out her passport, if she can work out her visa, then, she can come and hang out here for a little bit. She will be so shocked. It'll be such a culture shock for her. My gosh. I don't know how she's going to be out here. She'll be okay because she'll have me. So she'll be okay. Yeah. Oh, Farah says I used to be so shy as a child and teen. Yeah, it's no fun. Ah. Yeah, we're talking about the laughter now. Thank you so much. The ma- I swear, Zara, her face, yeah, it is like the mask. And I've told her before to stop playing with her face. She had some cheek filler in before, and it wasn't as bad as what it is now. And I just said to her, stop doing this shit to your face. I said, you don't need it. You look so good without it. Stop playing. Stop playing. And she's not going to listen to me. Of course, she's not going to listen to me. She'll do whatever the hell she wants. And, oh, yeah. I'm glad Athena says, I know when enough is enough. I've been under the knife. I know when enough is enough. Yeah, she for sure has body dysmorphia. Yep. Beauty is so high. Lebanon, oh my God. In Lebanon, it's the same as Dubai. They have salons where women literally sit for 7 hours a day, getting pampered, getting makeup done, getting their hair styled every day. It is massive, massive business. It's huge. Yeah. Oh, goodbye, Lady Macbeth. Battery going flat. Okay, yeah, I think oh my gosh, it's an hour and 42. Shit, this is like one of the longest live streams I've done. I think it's time I go and start my day. It's 9 o'clock now. So anyway, I will keep you posted. Obviously, you will know if she comes out here or not. I haven't spoken to her today. She usually calls me every day. Um, but I don't know what she's doing. If she I know how desperate she was the other day, and whether she still feels like that, I'm not sure. But I don't know. I want her out here just for a change anyway. She deserves it. She needs it. So I'll keep you posted with what happens. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have a nice night or day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. This was kind of a random live stream, but the random ones are kind of good because the other videos is where I can kind of talk about specific things, like the Alien series. I'm so glad you like the ET case files, and I'll keep going with that. But now I have to go out and stain this frame I've made in my rose garden because yesterday I started pissing down with rain, so I had to stop. And it's nice and sunny today, so I'm going to go and finish that. So anyway, you guys, I love you, love you, love you, love you, and I hope you have a gorgeous day, and whatever you're doing, may you always, always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. As always, I love you guys.